Welcome to Coach's Corner, Cat fans. Thanks for joining me here on this Monday afternoon, gloomy Monday. Although the weather's nice, we unfortunately had Brian Harmon's funeral today, so I'll talk about Brian here a little bit later. But today's show we'll spotlight Brian here a little bit later. But review the Parkway game, introduce or preview the Delphos game up at Delphos this Friday. And then our player spotlight will be Sammy Obringer and Isaac Schreier. Joe Hewer will be the coach's spotlight, and then Coach Harley a little bit on Brian's passing and what he meant to our program and Coldwater in general. So reviewing Parkway's game, it was homecoming, and so it was another really nice perfect weather football evening with very little wind and I don't know, mid 60s and maybe even low 60s, mid 50s by the end of the game. The score was 49-0. Again, we played pretty well. The word that I used in the pregame for the offense was efficiency. Doing things without a lot of waste, getting things done without a lot of waste, and that can be in any job, at any plant, at home, whatever. Trying to be efficient and not make a lot of mistakes, very little wasted time, wasted effort. So the kids played really well. Offensively, we tried to spread the wealth. Evan Harmon did get a couple touchdowns, which was cool to see. With what had gone on with his dad, and so we made a concerted effort, I guess, to get him the ball and make sure that if we could get him a couple touchdowns. So that worked out pretty well. The defense obviously played well. We had a good matchup with our O&D line versus their O&D line. I think that was probably the difference. They do have some pretty good skill guys. Parkway did pretty good quarterback, good running back, middle linebacker, but up front was probably the difference, and so we dominated the line of scrimmage, and we did a good job on our kickoffs. We recovered on an onside kick and really stopped them on our kickoff. So good in all three phases, and we feel good about that. Which leads us to the Delphos game. Delphos comes in, I believe, at 2-4, maybe 3-3. Delphos has always been a difficult game for us. Last year, we felt like we didn't play great against them, and they played good, and it came down to the last play of the game. We knocked the pass down in the end zone, or they didn't complete it. I can't remember what it was, but they were down on the 5-yard line to try to tie it up. And so it's always been a tough game for us. Coach Schulte does a really good job of coaching his guys up, and they always seem to play hard against us and play well against us. We're playing at Delphos. It's on the turf. It'll be interesting to see what the weather's like with the turf. Sometimes if it's hot out, it gets even hotter on the turf. But hopefully we'll get back to a little bit of normalcy this week. And the Harley brothers, I'm sure they'll be back by the end of the week. And hopefully we can do what we've been doing and play well and not turn the ball over and kicking and defense, just play solid like they have been and go up to Delphos this Friday and play a good solid game before those last 3 ball games. Spotlight players. We're going to go with number 53, Sam Obringer, and number 55, Isaac Schreier. Sam is a middle linebacker for us, and he calls the defense and is having a great year. I think he's in probably top 5 in tackles, and he's had a couple, like 2 interceptions now, 1 or 2 interceptions, and I guess he had an interception last week and a fumble recovery this week. Just playing really well. We weren't quite sure how Sam would be this year, but sometimes those seniors flip the switch, and he's playing great. He's also one of our really good wrestlers. Last year he got hurt right at the end of in the first playoff game last year. So that hampered him a little bit as wrestling went on, and then he got dislocated his collarbone towards the end of the wrestling season. So it was a rough year for injuries, but he had a good wrestling season. and hopefully that will continue this year. Sammy also is probably our number one backup offensive lineman right now. So he did play a few plays last week offensively, but we don't want that to happen. We want him just to feel great and refreshed, and just play a huge role on our defense, which he's doing right now in leading that defense. Number 55, Isaac Schreier is a defensive end, offensive guard. Isaac played a significant amount last Friday. He has improved here these last few weeks. So his defensive end coach Hewer, felt like he deserved some more playing time. So he got in there, and I think he had 3 tackles, 2 of them for tackles for loss, which is obviously a good thing when you can do that. Isaac also is one of our backup guards, and hopefully he continues to improve and move forward and really add some depth to our defensive line, and feel good about him getting in those big games with some serious or some important plays when the game is still in question. So Isaac's really improved. So happy for him that he's stuck with it, and now he's starting to get play a little bit more. So good for him. I just mentioned Joe Hewer is Isaac's D-line coach, and Joe coaches the centers and guards and defensive ends. So Isaac is with him all the time. So Joe Hewer is a former player here, as you know. Joe was away from Coldwater for a while when he first started teaching. He was at Sydney for 2 or 3 years, and then he was at New Bremen for a couple years. And fortunately for us, we got Joe back. He's a special ed teacher at the junior high, working with lots of kids. So we have it's really good. We have Joe in the middle school, along with Aaron Weigel, who's the 8th grade coach. So we have two football guys in the building there at the junior high. Coach Joe is a really good coach for us. So like I said, he coaches the guards and the centers, and the defensive end. Had really good relationships with the players, and they enjoy him. They enjoy teasing Coach Joe about all kinds of things, and he gives it right back to them. So he's built a really good relationship with those guys, and of course with our staff, fits right in these last 5 years, and really has helped us develop those O&D lineman guys, and along with he and Zach Sudoff, who's one of his good friends, who I spotlighted a couple weeks ago, doing a really good job with those guys. So thanks, Joe, for all you do for us. And finally, spotlight with Brian Harlemert. As you know, Brian passed away last week. So it was a tough day in Coldwater for all of us. So we lost not only a Hall of Fame coach and player, but a Hall of Fame dad and husband and father and son and friend and teacher. So I was at the funeral this morning. I don't think I've ever seen our church as crowded as it was today. There were cars all the way down in the high school parking lot, all the way in the junior high parking lot, and just I guess a good tribute to him. Jason Hemmelgarn did the eulogy and did a really good job. As you know, Brian was a Coldwater grad. He was a 3-sport athlete, played baseball at UD, and then certainly came back home and took over for Coach Brunswick and kept that baseball program rolling these last 25 years. And so our relationship over the years has been really good. And along with Nick Fisher, who's our basketball coach, fortunately, all of us were Coldwater guys, and 2 and 3 sport. I was a 3 sport, and I think Fish was a 2, and Brian was a 3. So we understand that we need to share our guys so that our best players are playing 2 and 3 sports, and that's really helped over the years. I really enjoyed working with Brian to some degree, announcing some of the ball games for him and pitching batting practice, and he was always willing to let me do that because that was fun for me. So hats off to Brian, and we're going to miss him in our program and obviously in the town and all the people that care about him. So as we move forward, we're going to Delphos this week, 7:30 on the turf up in Delphos.